Okay, so we're going to talk about vitamins here. So we finished talking about the macronutrients, so fats, carbs, proteins. Now we're going to talk a little bit about the micronutrients, which are specifically vitamins, minerals, and then we've also got water that we'll talk about. So basically two things: different classifications of vitamins and the functions of vitamins. Okay, vitamins are organic compounds, but each of them has a specific function. And they can be cofactors or catalysts. Remember, a cofactor is kind of like that second key. Okay, it would be like a safety deposit box. The key doesn't, like a single key won't open it, but if I've got both keys, then I'll be able to open that safety deposit box. Or they can be a catalyst, which is something that speeds up a reaction, right? So we talked about with ATP, or the formation of ATP, and how we go through all these steps. We've got these enzymes that make it easier for these reactions to occur. Now, with vitamins, like we called them micronutrients, that's because we only need very small amounts. Now, some examples of a cofactor, one that I talk about in 220 is that in order for blood clotting to occur, you actually need vitamin K and you need calcium. And vitamin K actually starts the clotting process, but it won't work unless you've got calcium. Calcium is kind of what is needed to make this reaction go. And so then a catalyst would be something like ATP synthase, which is an enzyme that allows for the formation of ATP. We've talked about phosphofructokinase, that sort of thing. Okay, which will also help glycolysis occur. Now, functions of enzymes, they help with energy release, tissue building, metabolism regulation, just a bunch of different things. And there's lots of different types of vitamins. And so we classify them as fat soluble and water soluble. And fat soluble means they can just dissolve in fat. They can pass right through the cell membrane. But the potential problem is in very high amounts, they can be toxic because they're ultimately stored. And so these are examples, examples are A, D, E, and K are your fat-soluble vitamins. Now, this toxicity is difficult to have. It can be accidental. And so really, it's not that big of a deal, not as common. Back in the day when I was a kid, when it was a big deal for, I guess it's not as big of a deal now, maybe I'm just a terrible parent, but my kids don't really take vitamins. But we took vitamins every day. And one time my brother ate like the whole bottle of vitamins. And so we had to take him to the ER and they had to pump his stomach or something. I don't remember. He's fine. At least he seems fine. He's a little bit a different dude, but he's always been that way. So it wasn't vitamins. Okay. And so it is possible. But it's highly unlikely. Then we've got water-soluble vitamins. These are absorbed with water. Generally speaking, if you've got too many, you just pee them out, kind of like protein. If you've got too much protein, you urinate it out. But it is possible to experience that vitamin toxicity. And so I just want to talk about a few of these vitamins. And so we've got vitamin B, and it's actually a complex or a group of vitamins. And ultimately, they help with cellular metabolism. So we've got B1 is necessary in order to take pyruvate, turn it to acetyl-CoA. That's important because otherwise we're not producing very much energy or very much ATP from glucose. B2 is good because it holds on to hydrogen ions during the electron transport chain. Remember, we're trying to create that gradient so that we can ultimately create ATP. B3 is a coenzyme in glycolysis, and then B12 helps with the red blood cell production and metabolism or breakdown of amino acids. Vitamin C is one that's pretty common, so or that you've heard of, right? Eat your orange or citrus, that sort of thing. You don't want to get scurvy. So it helps with a variety of things, such as what's listed here. And so collagen, that's connective tissue, bone growth, breakdown of amino acids, helps helps with formation of catecholamines. Okay, those are epi, norepi, and it also helps with iron absorption. Vitamin E is an interesting one because you could almost look at it as an enzyme for A and C, so it increases their activity. It's an antioxidant and helps with cellular damage, specifically with DNA. All right, and so just wanted to give you an idea of what these vitamins do and kind of how we classify them. We're not going to dive real deep in them in this class, but obviously if you take nutrition or maybe some of your upper division classes, you'll get more into what each of these vitamins does.